You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello. After an Astros loss. Another day, another result that looks absolutely disgusting. Take a step forward, take a step right back. The definition of the 2024 Houston Astros season. Thank you for joining us today for the Locked On Astros Postcast. Every single game, almost every single game right here on this channel, Locked On Sports Houston. You can always subscribe to the channel as well. We would greatly appreciate that. Today's episode, by the way, is brought to you by the Game Time app. And the Game Time app wants to get you to the game. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Well, look, there's not a lot to say about today's baseball game, correct? It was over in the second inning. The Astros had Spencer Arrighetti on the mound after Justin Verlander was scratched today, and it went as poorly as it could go. I can understand the situation. Spencer Arrighetti woke up this morning and did not expect to start. He's not a seasoned big leaguer by any means. And you have that thrown onto your plate, it can quickly become a lot. And you're not prepared, and you got to rush your preparation. You've not game planned for that day, whatever it might be. He, in his mind, was set for tomorrow. But you are still a professional, and you would hope that you could go out there and do better than that. I think I'm just going to wash it away overall. You know that he's going to struggle at times. He's a rookie. And he has been a guy that, lives either way too far out of the zone at times or too much in the zone when it goes poorly in terms of giving up contact. And that was today. It was basically everything right down the middle or hanging. And it made my day. I don't know about you guys. It made my day because this is one of my favorite weekends of sports of the year. The U.S. Open is being played right now. The Astros were on my computer and off to the side, and I glanced occasionally. And I decided, you know what? I'm focusing on the U.S. Open because I want to watch the golf. And it's frustrating because that's what this season is. That is what I have felt like I've done too much of. I'm not saying every game I'm not paying attention. I'm paying attention to the games today. And no, I will completely admit it to you. Why would you watch that game? Why would you pay attention? I shouldn't say why, but why would you pay in-depth attention to everything? They're down 10-0 after 3. Game was over. Game was decided. 3 innings later, Joe Espada's pulling starters, as he should. We've done a lot of these shows, and last night was one of those nights where, and this is what's so annoying about it, and that's, if I was to, and I guess put them in the comments, define the Astros season for you at this point in one word. Define it. One word. To me, it's annoying. Because one night, they can go out there and they can look so efficient, so good. Hunter Brown dominates last night. The offense up against a Cy Young candidate. They bide their time, and then they pounce on him. And they put up a 4 spot, and they win the baseball game. And it's like, you know what? This is what a good baseball team. This is like when Dana Brown, the GM, keeps saying these, we're a good team, and we're going to get there. And this is a good group of guys, and this, that, and the other. That feels somewhat validated on a night like last night. But when you come right back and do this the next day, which again, I know the circumstances and everything, but it doesn't inspire anything. Simple as that. And yes, you guys can keep sending in your stuff. You guys, what are y'all doing? That one can go. The Astros, though, today, it's just terrible. It's just what this season is. And I'm telling you, I think the word for me, the annoying word for me, is the word annoying is how I would define this season. I want to be invested. I want to be bought into the mindset that they are going to turn it around and figure it out. But each day keeps ticking by. Today's the 15th of June. We're halfway through the month. July is here in a couple of weeks. July. It's not very often that you stay 7, 8, 9, 10 games under 500 into July and then eventually find your way. I just think that they've shown us who they are. And then when things are compounded badly in a tight spot, like their margin for error is 0. And that shows you today. Because when they lose their starter and they have to go to somebody else, like they're not going to have anybody step up. Simple as that. And then they're facing Flaherty over there, who's already, pitched really well against them earlier this year. And then you add the 10-0 lead. They gave up. Human nature, right? I'd get that. If I was in the same situation, yeah, let's play it out. I wish they lost faster than they did. They couldn't even lose in a quick fashion. You guys know this. If you're going to lose for me, do it quickly. They did not do it quickly today. Justin Verlander scratched from the start today. Of course, that is a big concern from this baseball club. Should you be all that concerned? Should you be at a point where you're freaking out a little bit? And can they get through a period of time where maybe they need to skip him in the rotation? And what would they do if they did miss him? We'll talk about that in just a brief second here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Here on the Locked On Astros Postcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news on your favorite team, the Astros, of course, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs, which, may not be coming this year for the Astros. It's year-round, though. It's year-round in Houston sports for us. You know what else is year-round? Collections season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for your unfiled taxes. You better file them. I got to finish mine. I filed for an extension, and I need to finish that. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Nobody's got time for that. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. See the link in the episode description below. Locked On Astros Postcast on a Friday. It's not Friday, it's Saturday. I'm sorry, I just got distracted because one of my 3 dogs just came charging in the room at me. The tiny Chihuahua. She's probably ready to go outside because she's also annoyed that the Astros went out there and, they sucked today. They got absolutely hammered from the start, and you just kind of knew it. You kind of knew it. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you are listening to this on podcast, you can go to Locked On Sports Houston on YouTube and go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. And by the way, some of the words that are, if you want to keep piling in your one word to describe the Astros season, maybe we'll get to some of those in the final few minutes of the show today. But with Verlander going down, you just kind of knew how this day was going to go. It wasn't a lock that you were going to win. He hasn't been exceptionally sharp of late. And you know what? Maybe this is a little bit of an explanation as to why. He's said it before the game. His neck has been bothering him a little bit, and it bothered him some more in his bullpen the other day. It's not anything that it sounds like is going to keep him from pitching. in his next turn around the rotation. And if he needed to go out and pitch today, he would have gone out and pitched today. But this is the life of, and we've talked about this on this show before, this is the life of having a 41-year-old pitcher on your team. It's a really good thing that the Astros aren't paying him the full $43 million that he is slotted to make this year, that the Mets are paying so much of that. Because if you're paying this guy $43 million, yikes. The Mets just gave him, and I get why he went there. They gave him money that nobody else was going to give him, and why not get the cash, baby? And then have the Mets pay a bunch of it, come back to Houston. They need him, of course. They need him to be one of the aces of the staff. I can't, and I'm a big time, massive Justin Verlander fan. We've talked about that before. I can't be honest and say, oh, well, this guy is the ace of the staff, because he's just not that anymore. He is capable of going out there and being the ace of the staff on a given day. He is still capable of having dominant starts. I just don't think that he's ever going to be the guy that is, he's never going back to where he was. Father Time gets everybody, and you slow down. He can evolve as a pitcher, and we've seen a little bit of that this year, which has been encouraging in terms of the changeup has become a very big pitch for Justin Verlander this year. And, for this team to keep winning at a high level, they need him, or I should say to try and win at a high level, they need him to pitch well most times out there, of course. But they have to have him available too. But it's not encouraging. I still think that he's probably going to find a way to get to his 140 innings this year, which will automatically trigger his option for next year, which guarantees that he'll be on the Astros roster at the age of 42. I still can't imagine that he pitches anywhere else other than Houston, or maybe goes back to Detroit at some point. But there's still reason to be worried about the pitcher, about the health, about what you're going to get out of him consistently moving forward. Because now, look, I'm not a 41-year-old man. I'm 33, so I'm a little bit further away, or I got a little bit of time before I get there. But I mean, hell, even waking up at 33 some days, I get it. Like, things hurt more than they did 5-6 years ago when I was in my 20s. They just do. And I'm a person that's very active. I work out 2 times a day. I try to eat as healthy as I can, and I stretch for at least 30 minutes a day. Like, I'm pretty active, and these are athletes. And I wake up beat up some days. I'm like, my hip kills me all the time. This is a guy who's trying to go out there in 41 and throw 90-something miles an hour. And I can't imagine how that feels when you're not right, to wake up in the morning. But hopefully this isn't the Astros hiding behind the word discomfort. I mean, if they've got the word discomfort in it, that's usually a bad sign. I think Javier had neck discomfort earlier this year. No, I'm not going to put Tommy John back on Justin Verlander. If he had to have another Tommy John, I bet he'd shut it down. There's no way you're coming back from that at that point. But that's not what this is. This is neck discomfort. I'll take them at their word. I will take the Astros at their word that it is neck discomfort. Hopefully, he slept on his pillow wrong, and it's just been bugging him. But for weeks, that's a bad crick in your neck. I can't tell you the last time. We've all probably had days. I'm sorry, I'm scratching my head as I'm doing. I feel like Justin Verlander now. Like, all of a sudden, I've got a head itch. We've all had nights where you wake up and you're like, I slept funny on my neck there or whatever. But for weeks, did he sneeze too hard? I don't know. I really don't know. Something's weird. Somebody get him a new pillow. I don't know what kind of pillows you people are using these days. I've had the same one for like probably 3 years now. I found one on Amazon. It's great. Maybe I'll send. You may got Justin Verlander's address. Send him a pillow. This pillow has been great. It's perfect. Maybe that's what he needs. I'd imagine he has like the world's most expensive bed and pillows and all that. I mean, he is very rich, and he gives off that vibe of being a guy that has nothing but expensive things, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. And I would be the same. I don't know if I'd be the exact same way. I'd probably be a little bit more low-key. That's just me. Hit the lottery tomorrow. I probably wouldn't do this show anymore. I still like it, but I don't like you guys that much to keep wanting to do this every day. I'd be traveling the world playing golf all over the place. Which, by the way, if you're like me and you just wanted a quick update on the U.S. Open, Bryson DeChambeau has opened up a 4-stroke lead. And it might be growing here in a minute. We'll see what happens. So tomorrow, unfortunately, I might not get good baseball with the Astros, and I might not get a good golf, a good final round of the U.S. Open because it could just be done tonight with that. What is reality with the Astros? I know that we've kicked around whatever it is. What is reality with this baseball team? Are you willing to live in it? Are you willing to admit what reality is? Or are you still holding out that this baseball team could do something to change your mind to make you think, oh, yeah, things will get better at some point for this team? We'll talk about that in a brief second right here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. All right, but it's time now as my dogs are deciding that they need to bark at this very time because they think somebody's here. There's nobody here to tell you about the Game Time app. Have you ever found yourself in a spot? And maybe this is you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Father's Day. You need a last-second gift for dad. I know that the result might not be what you want, but a ball game with the old man is still a good time. And if you're in need of getting tickets, well, why don't you go ahead right now and download that Game Time app? Last minute, last second, they have you covered with the best deals out there at the Game Time app. Like I mentioned, those last minute deals where you can save up to 60% off buying for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever it is you're looking for. They even have flash deals where you save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. It's a great app. You're going to love it. You're going to get into the event you want with a great deal whenever it is that you're buying. Take the guesswork out of buying any tickets, whether it's NBA Finals, baseball, with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and open the app and redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, the Locked On Astros postcast rolling along for a few more minutes as the Astros get just crushed. Whatever. I got mad a little bit last night when we're talking about the Abreu thing. I didn't even say mad, but, you know, you're a little bit fire in your voice, fire in your belly from it because of the situation and how it played out. I can't even get, mad about today's game. And really, I've kind of reached the point where, you know, I don't get mad so much when they lose at all. I'm starting to feel numb to it to an extent. I mean, they're 30. What are they now? They're 32 and 30, 32 and 39 on the season. Great. It's been a long time since we've done this, guys. We have been absolutely blessed in the city of Houston to watch unbelievable baseball, but now they're a team that is, at the moment, they're 8.5 games out in the West. The Mariners and the Rangers are playing each other. I have not even looked today to see if they're playing right now. The Mariners are up 1-0 after 1. So, you know, in all likelihood, the Astros will fall back. Think about that. For those of you that are holding out hope today, and that's why I want to talk about reality here. For those of you holding out hope still that they could turn it around, which, look, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. You should live it how you want. But let's say that holds and the Mariners win today. Going into June 16th, the Astros will be 9.5 games out of the division. Guess what they're not doing? They are not winning the AL West. I mean, heck, they're 6.5 games out of the last wild card spot right now. You would have to still jump. I need to pull the wild card standings up. you would not only have to close a 6.5 game gap, you would also have to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, 6 teams. 6 teams ahead of the Astros. You realize there's only 3 teams in the American League with a record that's worse than the Astros? 3. The Angels, the A's, and the White Sox. That's it. 3 teams worse, to put it in perspective. And that's where, and I brought up the Dana Brown comments from yesterday, trying to put the happy face on and keep people excited and, not make it out like everything's bad or something. I get it. That's their job. They want to keep the team thinking that they can turn it around, and if they do it, he's going to make their team better. They're only interested in getting back to the postseason. I'm telling you, each day that keeps creeping by and it stays the same, which when you lose one day or win one day and then lose the next, you're staying the same. You're not changing at all. You're literally spinning your wheels. The closer that we get to that trade deadline, which I don't even know what day the trade deadline is on this year. Is it 31st? Do they move it back? They moved it back to the 1st, didn't they? MLB trade deadline 2024 is why don't they just tell you what it is when you Google it? Make it easier for me. It's on the 3rd. Oh, wow, it's on the 30th this year at 5:00 Central Time. Wow, that's weird. What day is the 30th on? I'm guessing they don't want it to fall on the weekend. The 30th is a Tuesday. Why wouldn't they just have it the 30th? Whatever. It's not my decision. Baseball will just be weird. Just keep it to the 31st. Just move along with it. But the further that they creep towards the 31st, doing this, I'm telling you, they got to trade pieces away. There's no reason to hold on to everybody. Guys that are going to be gone after this year or after next year, move them. Move them. Get any kind of big return that you can get. I'm telling you right now, if you know that after next year, which again, I know that they're trying to win next year, but if you know that after next year, without a doubt, you're not keeping Framber Valdez, shop him. And if you get blown away this trade deadline and in an offer for him, move him. If not, you leave the phones open in the offseason and you just see if you get blown away there. And if you don't, you keep him, and then you try and compete next year. I am not interested in trading Kyle Tucker. They should not be interested in trading Kyle Tucker. Their only thought should be extending him because he is a key part of your team and the core moving forward. You need to have him along with Jordan and Jose Altuve moving forward. Alex Bregman should be open for business. They're not keeping him. He should be available to any team that wants him. The return on him is not going to be very much, which is fine. You knew that going in. I mean, he's a 240 hitter this year with a 710 OPS. He's been a lot better of late, which is good. And actually, that's not even updated. Why do I have yesterday's box score open? I've got the wrong box score up. I'm sorry. Alex Bregman is now a 240 hitter with a 709 OPS. You get a prospect for him. Better than nothing, right? Or you could slap the qualifying offer on him in the offseason and get some sort of draft pick. But it just depends on the prospect. If you can get a prospect that you're in love with, then you move him. If not, slap the qualifying offer. Hope he doesn't take it. I'm going to go ahead and assume he won't because Scott Boras is his agent. And you get the draft pick compensation for him this winter. So that one's a little bit different, maybe. You get somebody to take Rafael Montero, get somebody to take Ryan Presley. Go and get. Pay some of the money down, get a prospect back. Okay? It's fine. You just paid Jose Abreu $30 million to skedaddle. You can pay down half of Montero's money that's left and a few million of Presley's $14 million or whatever for next year. Get something in return. Basically anything of value. If Verlander has any value at that point and somebody wants to trade for him and he's willing to accept the trade, trade him. Why wouldn't you? You don't need him. You're not going anywhere. This is not a postseason baseball team. We're seeing it. And again, that's where I just get back to. I think it's time to just completely dive into the reality. I want to live in reality, and I want you guys to live in reality. this is not a good baseball team. This is a bad baseball team, and they show you this every single day. They have not gotten above 500 at all this year. They've barely sniffed it at any point. And they keep hovering closer to 10 games under than the 500 number. So, again, I understand and appreciate wanting to have optimism. And if they come out tomorrow and cook and win 14-1, maybe the tone will be different here. It won't be a lot, though. It'll still be, you have to show me. I'm not going to believe anything that this team is capable of doing until they put it together. And time's running out. And I think it would be just the dumbest decision you could make, and malpractice, honestly, at running a franchise and being a GM, if you did not look at yourself in the mirror here soon and say, you know what? We got to ship some stuff out. Just creeping closer by the day. Well, we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with an Astros victory. I don't know. We'll see what happens. No word on who's going to start for the Astros. Kenta Maeda is going to go for the Detroit Tigers. It's a 1:10 first pitch tomorrow, so we'll be with you, around 4 o'clock or whatever, 4:15, whatever it might be. Hopefully it's a quicker game, especially if they're going to lose. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. I'm going to go finish watching some golf. DeChambeau just dropped a couple of shots. I'm feeling a little bit better now. You guys enjoy it. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Locked On Astros Postcast.